question 1, we're finding diagonal. We need to use Pythagoras, so we get d squared equals 34 squared plus 24 squared, which gets us 1732. Now, we don't want d squared, we want d, so we need to square root to the nearest centimetre, which is 41.6, so therefore 42 centimetres. Okay, with 2 perimeter, so we need this side, so therefore we can draw a line and call it x. Now this time we are finding the shorter side, so x squared equals 38 squared minus, now this side here, 60 along all the way, we don't need 48, so there is 12 remaining, so minus 12 squared, which gets us 1300. We don't want x squared, so we square root, and we get 36.06, because we want 2 decimal places, and it's okay to round that right now because for perimeter we're using whole numbers. So the perimeter will be 60 plus 38 plus 48 plus 36.06, which is 182.06 millimeters. Alright, B. Okay, so we need x. Now the right angle triangle of Pythagoras, that there is 3.5, so x squared equals 4 squared plus 3.5 squared. We get 28.25. We don't want x squared, so we square root, and we get 5.31507. Now I'm using more than 2 decimal places because we're going to need it for this side also. So I'm going to wait till the end to round. So the perimeter will be 7 plus 5.315 times by 2, which gets us 17.63 centimetres. Alright, 3. Now they are similar figures, therefore the ratios are the same. Now, the drawing's wrong here, so this y is actually in the wrong position. Should be there, because it needs to match with the other y. So, y is what we want. Its matching side is 9, so that ratio must equal the other ratio, which is 3/4. It must be in the right order. We use this shape first, so it must be on the top for each. Now to get rid of divide by 9, we times by. So 3/4 times by 9 gets us 6.75. Now for this one, x is equivalent to 7, and the other ratio with the x is 25, and with the 7 is 15, times by 7 both sides, and we get 11 2/3. Now for the y, similar. This time y matches with the 16. This time the ratio is 15/25. Same ratio, but switched around. Times by 16 both sides, and we get 9.6. Now, an object is 20 centimeters from a camera lens, so let's actually look at the object. Okay, so it says the image is 20 millimeters tall. It is 20 centimeters from the lens. The screen is 3 meters away from the lens, and we're trying to work out the x. Now in this case you need all the similar units, so it's going to be x over 20 millimeters must equal 3 meters, which is 3,000 millimeters, over 20 centimeters, which is 2. Now times by 20, both sides, and we get x equals 300 millimeters, or 30 centimeters. Now, I didn't answer A, the scale factor. Well, that's the scale factor just there. 3,000 over 200, which gets us 15. So the image is 15 times larger. Now, 1.4 tall, so I'm going to do cast a 2 meter shadow. Now that's a right angle triangle. While a 9 meter pole casts a shadow. How tall is the shadow? How long is the shadow? So again, x over 2 must equal 9 over 1.5 times by 2, both sides, and we get 12.86 meters. Now, the bedroom, the plan of a house is drawn to a scale of 1 to 250. That means 250 times bigger. So if the bedroom is 18 mils by 15 mil, what's the actual? So we're going to times both by 250. And we get 4.5 meters and 3.75 meters. And when we do the area, length times breadth, we get 17 meters squared. Now 7, scale used. Now obviously this drawing is going to be a little bit different wherever you get it from. So really when you measure any line, now I measured the 6.4 meters to be 3.3 centimeters. So I get 3.3 dot dot 6.4 meters, which is 640 centimeters. I need the same units. I divide by 3.3 both sides, and I get 1 to 194. Probably it was 1 to 200. Alright, near it, the area, front section of the court, is just 6.4 meters by 5.45 meters, which is 35 meters squared. No scale needed there. And the rest the same. Okay, 8, symbol for washing machine, is just basically a rectangle with WM in it. A stove is a square with hot plates. And a vanity basin is a bit of a rectangle just with a sink and a drain. Now B, we need the diagram, so we won't worry about B. Now C, it's covered with tiles measuring 30 by 30 centimeters. Now the family room would be in meters, so it's whatever the area, and we want to know how many tiles go in that. So we're going to divide by now the area of each tile, which in this case will be 0.3 meters by 0.3 meters. Okay, 9. Put that in our calculator, making sure our calculator is in degree mode. Sine 39 is 0.63, 2 decimal places. Using your DMS, 84 degrees, 13 minutes, gets you 9.87, and cos 52.7, again just put that in. Now, 10, if we want beta, we have to get rid of the cos, do the inverse, or the inverse operation, which is -1. Whenever you find an angle, you must do the -1 of 0.3674. We need it to the nearest degree, get that in your calculator, and it's 68 degrees. Alright, 11A. Okay, there's our angle there. We have our adjacent and our hypotenuse, which is cos. Cos 50 equals adjacent over hypotenuse, multiplied by 10. So 10 cos 50 equals B. B will equal 6.43 centimeters. Alright, B is the same, except you just have to use DMS. Now C, we're going to use, we've got the opposite and the adjacent, so we're using tan. 36 equals 8 over y. Now when y is on the bottom, we can just simply switch these two. Y equals 8 over tan 36, and that will equal 11.01 centimeters. Alright, 12, we will be using sin, because we've got opposite and hypotenuse, and it will be very similar to the C, where the x is on the bottom, so you need to switch. Okay. Alright, 13A, so we have adjacent and hypotenuse, so cos equals 3 over 8. We don't want the cos, so we do the inverse operation, which is the -1, 3 over 8, and we get to the nearest degree 68 degrees. Now B will be tan and C will be sine. Okay, 14, what angle do the rays of the sun make with the ground? So we need this angle in here, and therefore we have opposite and adjacent. We'll be using tan, and then therefore tan to the -1. Okay, so 15, a 13 metre ladder is placed against the building. Its foot is 3 metres away. Okay, how high is the top of the ladder above the ground? So that would be Pythagoras. We're finding shorter side, so it'll be x squared equals 13 squared minus 3 squared. And to the nearest point 1 gets you 12.6 metres. What angle does the ladder make with the ground? So we need this one. Now you can use anything now because you have the x, but it's probably better because whole numbers to use cos and shift cos, second function cos. Alright, 16. What is the bearing of y from x? So here's x, so how much does x turn? Alright, it is 270 to there. It's 15 short of 270, therefore it's 255 degrees. Alright, 157 on a compass rose. Alright, there's north. 157 is in the second quadrant, so around about there. And either you can put, what's 157 from 180 is 33 degrees on that side, or what's 157 from 90? 67 degrees on that side. Either way. Okay. 18. Alright, lighthouse is 500 nautical miles due north, so straight up. If the ship sails on a course of 333 degrees, which is all the way around there, how far west is it from the lighthouse? So x. So 333 from 360 or all the way around is 27 degrees. So 27 in there. Alright, therefore we've got tan tan 27 equals x over 500 times by 500, and you'll get 254.76 nautical miles, 2 decimal places. Alright, a boat sails due east for 18 kilometres, then south for 5. How far is a boat from its starting point? So it's a right angle triangle. So use Pythagoras, x squared equals 18 squared plus 5 squared, and you'll get 18.67. What is the boat's bearing from its starting point to the nearest degree? Alright, so from its starting point, so its starting point was here, so we need to know what is that direction there. So north, we need to know that. So obviously it is more than 90, but not 180. So to work out that, we need that angle in there, theta. So tan is the best thing. Tan theta equals 5 over 18, which gets us 16 degrees. This is for this question here. So the bearing will therefore be 90 plus 16, which is 106 degrees. True. Okay. Now what is the angle of depression on the top of the tree from the pigeon? So we need that angle there. Now that will also equal this angle there. We know that is 18, so therefore we are using cos. Cos theta equals 18 over 21. Second function cos 8 over 21 gets us 68 degrees. So therefore it is 68 degrees. Now you've got to be careful because that is actually the angle of elevation just there, but we want the angle of depression. So write it maybe twice. Okay, 21. Last one we have, right, how far towards Jaden to the nearest metre must the balloon fly? Now, so that is that there, that distance, which is the same as that distance there. So we have tan 31.15 equals 650 over x. Now x is on the bottom, so switch. So it will be x equals 650 divided by tan 31.15, and we get 1071 metres because it's to the nearest metre.